I spent like 10 minutes trying to get my phone at this angle in a way that it doesn't just fall off. Finally did it, but that is not the point of why I'm here. So yesterday ended up doing a lot of LeetCode. For you guys, it was yesterday. For me, it's still the same day. But I also want to work on, getting some green squares on GitHub and actually making real code, not just data structures and algorithms. So that is why I'm here. And also, it's kind of like a 2-in-1 because I get to get ahead on videos if I get enough footage for a video on this, which hopefully I do. But anyways, plan for today. I'm gonna work on a project, see how far I can get with it, and I'll let you guys know if I run into any issues, any errors, whatever happens. And also, I just want to say, I didn't think anybody would actually want to watch this kind of video. Like, it's literally just me talking and then like a time lapse of me coding. But somehow these videos are actually getting like sometimes even 200 or 300 views. So I just want to say thank you for everybody who is watching and commenting. You guys all have left some really nice comments, which has definitely helped me. I honestly thought I was just gonna get roasted all the time in the comments, but everyone has been really nice so far. And that actually brings me to another point. I don't want to put off this image that I'm like really good at coding or really good at LeetCode or anything, because I'm really not. And I hope that's not the image that I'm portraying. I'm basically just like your average computer science student, but I'm trying to do better, trying to build better projects, be better at LeetCode. So hopefully one day it can all pay off. And yeah, so let's just go ahead and get into it. Okay, I'm back. Honestly, it's been going pretty well. I've been coding for like about an hour. I got some pretty decent stuff done. I basically fixed a bug that I was having last time I was working on the code with the front end. And for some reason, the front end was having an issue fetching data, because I guess there's instances where React might render your component before the data is available, and in that case you have to make sure that you have some sort of guard for it. And so that took me a bit to figure out, but thankfully I got it. And then I just started working on some of the back end. Honestly, it's looking pretty good so far. It's really just a lot of hard-coded things. I don't have anything dynamic yet, but that's because I was just trying to make sure all the interactions worked, and I plan on upgrading it later. So yeah, overall pretty well. I'm gonna go ahead and keep on working on it, and I'll keep you guys updated. Okay, so I've been working on my project for maybe about like 2 hours now, so not that long. But unfortunately, I was working on LeetCode for like 4 hours earlier today, and now my brain is kind of just giving up because I only got like 5 or 6 hours of sleep last night. So I'm not in the best mindset to continue. I'm kind of just like confused on where I want to go with my project. And so I don't think I've ever actually explained what my project is and what it is that I'm working on. So I'll just explain it now. Preface: it's not the most great project ever. It's just something that I felt like I could get some use out of, and that's really it. So basically I'm working on a Chrome extension for GitHub, where users can basically ask questions about GitHub repositories. And I just want it to be super user-friendly and super intuitive, because what happens is when I look at a repository, it's always just like a wall of text and then a bunch of folders. And it's like, despite besides like the readme file, I don't really know what's going on. And I wish there was an easy way where you could just ask ask a question like, what does this repo do, and then get an answer. And then you could be like, okay, what are the main functions in this repo? How does this function interact with other functions? What's the main file to look at, and how does this file blah blah blah, how do folders interact with each other, all that stuff. And so it might sound like it could be done with a basic ChatGPT wrapper, and honestly a lot of it can, but the majority of what I've been working on is getting relationships between different folders, different files, and different functions. And so I've basically saved all their relationships in kind of like a graph-like structure as a JSON file. And from here, after I clone the GitHub repo that is being asked about, I basically turn it into a raw graph. And then I also have a graph query class, which basically has a bunch of functions that gets the raw JSON graph and provides like valuable data from it. And then from there we send that to the front end, which is in React. So yeah, that's basically my whole project. Right now, I don't want everything to be a ChatGPT wrapper because one of the main functionality points of this project, and one of the main issues that you might think of is, okay, if a user asks a question, how do you know what to feed the user? Because a user might ask, what does this repo do as a whole? And because the user might ask, what does this repo do as a whole? Or the user might ask, how does this function interact with other functions? And the user can pretty much ask anything, right? So that's basically what I've been stuck on. I'm thinking I don't want to just feed in the user question into an LLM, because if I actually do want to one day put this on like the Google Chrome extension store, then basically my token prices are going to be really high. And so right now I'm trying to focus and figure out ways to get around using an LLM. So for understanding what kind of question the user has submitted, one method that I'm thinking of is training an ML model on different user questions. And then whenever a user asks a question, it'll basically just return the question type that they asked. But the issue with that method is I don't have a data set of like GitHub repo questions, and I have a feeling there's not really any data set for that. So I think what I'm going to try and do to classify questions is right now use an embedding approach. So basically when the user asks a natural language question like where is the login function or something like that, where is the something functionality, it goes through my embedding database, which in the embedding database I'm thinking of having some example embeddings, and it basically will match the two embeddings together and see which one has the closest similarity. And so basically I'm just comparing the examples with the current user query message, and then I think I'm gonna have an option where if it doesn't provide the right type of answer to the user question, then the user can submit something that says, hey, this wasn't even like the right type of question, something like that. And so that way it can actually give me a data set to then train the model for the question classification. So yeah, I think right now, unfortunately, I do have to use just like a paid API, but it shouldn't be too bad. I mean, I don't have any users right now, and maybe I won't even ever get users, so it doesn't really matter at the moment. But I was just trying to plan and think ahead. So yeah, and I guess some limitations that I've ran into is there are just some things that literally are going to need an LLM no matter what. Like if a user asks a question like, what does this main function do? I don't think there's any way I can really get around using an LLM. I think I just have to use one. But I don't know, maybe I will figure out a different way in the future. Yeah, so right now that's kind of what I have set up. A lot of the bulk of this project that I had like worked on in the past was just figuring out a layout and how I wanted this to work. And I think honestly the graph functionality was probably the smartest move. I'm pretty sure it's like the only way I could have done this. Basically every like node in the graph is a function, or sorry, it's a file, and then every file has like all of its functions, and then all of its functions have all of the calls to that function. And you know, basically I'm just trying to get all of the relationships between everything inside of a repository. But now is the actual hard part. Now that I have those relationships, I need to actually make some meaning of them and allow users to basically interact with the GitHub repo. That's basically like my end goal. I want it to be super easy to use and basically just walk your hand through a repo. And like I said, I know it's not the most impressive thing in the world, but I'm just making it because I know it's something that I could use. And I think that's mainly what you should always be aiming for. It's just a problem that you've noticed and a problem that you've had. You should always, you know, just try and fix it. And then I also think it can help other people, especially if it's literally just a Chrome extension. You know, it doesn't take any effort to download a Chrome extension. All you have to do is just open up GitHub at that point, and then you already have it. So yeah, right now it's literally in like the most minimum viable product like stage ever. And honestly, a lot of that is due to me spending a lot of time on LeetCode. I think if I would have spent the same amount of time that I spent on LeetCode on coding a project, I probably would have had this project done. Because it's not that hard, right? It's not that complicated. I could probably get it done in like a week if I really focused, maybe even less. But yeah, so I've been putting most of my attention on LeetCode just because I do have an online assessment coming up. So yeah, that's currently where I'm at with my project. And that'll probably be it for this video because my brain is done and I'm just ready to go to sleep. So sorry if this video was short. Thank you guys again for all the support, and goodbye.